Censoring the facts turns our children into idiots. They claim it's for our safety. I'll tell you what it really is. Removing information that empowers all the citizens. The truth doesn't damage points of view that are legitimate. They're trying to change amen to amen. And
welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the little stutter there. Apparently, my Rumble connection is not working. I'm still sorting that out, so my apologies. I'm gonna do some more tests once this is over. I do apologize for the little stutter there, but other than that, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Dion's Daily Dose. So tonight we have a special guest, as you can see over right there. Her name is Tonya Millis, and she is a candidate for United States Congress. From Indiana District 9. Now, what I was able to tell on the map, it's kind of southeastern Indiana, but I'll let her kind of delineate. It's a big area from what I could tell. But here's what we'll do. We'll bring her on. She can say hi, and then I'll turn the floor over to her, and she can tell you all about herself. So here we go. Hi, Tonya. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk directly to the viewers and tell them what you're about.
Okay. Well, to tag on to what you were just saying, my district, it's got 17 counties, actually 17 in the third, and I actually brought a map, so I'm going to put this up here. Right here in the southeast quadrant of Indiana is District 9. So it is a big district, like Dion said. I have a lot of ground that I've been covering, and I've been having a lot of fun going to fairs and festivals and being in some parades too. So talking with the people, I enjoy doing that. I'm serious about doing what I can to make a difference. Our district hasn't had a voice in a long time, and the people need a voice in Washington, D.C. So that's what I'm trying to do. My campaign is called the Roll It Back campaign. Because my goal is to roll back many of the pesky rules and regulations that have been taking away our freedoms and liberties for so long. This has been going on for years and years, decades actually, under both Republicans and Democrats. Our founding fathers absolutely did not want a two-party monopoly, what we call the duopoly. And I am was a lifelong Republican, and now I'm a Libertarian, which means I'm a constitutionalist. So when I first left the Republican Party, it was about, I'm going to say five years ago. I was an independent for a little while, but being an independent is lonely. So I did my research, and I found the Libertarian Party and went down their platform, and it was like, check. They checked all the boxes for me. So I knew I was a libertarian, and probably have always been a libertarian and just didn't know it. And so I am happy to be running as a third party candidate and not as part of the duopoly.
Fix my camera here. Okay. So I have some, what I call, I'm telling you, I got to get a second camera because this is really annoying, but I'll get it. So I have some, what I like to call rapid fire questions, right? And they are not political in nature. They are very much generalized, just to kind of get to know you as a person type questions. So the first one that was really important to me, voters may not care, but I do. How do you like your steak?
I like my steak medium, slightly red in the middle, pink with a little red, not too bloody, but I want to be able to have the flavor.
Okay, all right, awesome. I can accept that. My wife likes it. My wife likes it, quote, cooked, which to me is vastly overcooked. So are you a cat person, a dog person, or something else?
I have a dog. I like cats, but I prefer them outside, like barn cats, not in the house. But I do have a dog.
Okay, all right. What kind of dog do you have? Is it just a mutt?
He's an American Staffordshire Terrier.
Okay.
Kind of a cousin to a pit bull, but not as mean and stocky.
Okay. Okay. What is your favorite sport, or do you have one?
Oh, wow. I would say it depends on the time of year. I like NFL,
All right.
and I've also been a NASCAR fan. So it depends on the time of year what I'm watching.
Right. Right. I understand. Okay. Who's your favorite driver for NASCAR?
Well,
Current.
I was going to say my favorite driver, Jeff Gordon's not racing anymore.
Right.
And so I like Truex Jr. and
Okay.
also my hometown favorite, Chase Briscoe. He's from Mitchell, Indiana, and he's moving
Oh,
up really fast. He's one of the young drivers, and he's doing us proud here in Southern Indiana.
nice. Nice. Okay. All right. Pepsi, Coke, or other?
Other.
Other. Okay. That's all right. Do you
I'm
want to
not a
tell?
soda drinker. I will drink sodas from time to time, but I mainly drink tea, coffee in the morning, sometimes other drinks, but um, I like to have wine on occasion.
Right. All right. That's good. I really wish I could. I there for a little while. I didn't drink any pop at all. I wish I could get back to that. It's certainly, better for you. Coffee, tea, water, much better than these sugary sodas. Okay. So
Yeah, I
there you
drink a
go.
lot of
See,
water.
you're from kind of far away as far as Indiana goes. You're in the southeast portion of it. I'm in the northwest portion of it. Up here is very much a Bears versus Colts kind of a mentality as far as the NFL goes. What are the teams down there that are most prominent? Are you guys still Colts fans down there, or is
Colts.
it Colts all the way? Okay, all right. That was my question. All right, we're gonna
Which
move on to.
unfortunately the Colts have been struggling. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm still a fan, even though I'm a little embarrassed sometimes. But hey,
You know what? That's what delineates the true fans. The
yeah,
the
I'm
the fair
still a
weather
fan.
friends, yeah, that just pop on when they're winning are like, oh yeah, go Colts, and then they start screwing up, and it's like, what team? I'm sorry, what? Those aren't the real fans. So okay, so we're going to focus more now on the actual, politics of it, the election itself. First of all, what made you decide to run for such a big position? I mean, United States Congress is a huge deal. Why that?
Well, my whole life, I've always followed what was going on in Washington, D.C. I was somewhat of a C-SPAN junkie, actually watching and observing what was going on the floor of the House. And I was real passionate about it because it affects all of us, not just here in Indiana, but across the country. And I do care about my country. And I got tired of yelling at the TV because so much of what our Congress is supposed to be doing under the Constitution, they're not doing. They become complacent and letting the President of the United States do things that he doesn't have the authority to do. And I'm not talking about just the current president. I'm talking about going back to Bush
Okay.
and after 9/11, some things that happened there
Yeah.
with the Patriot Act and that sort of thing. And it just kind of just kept rolling along with our freedoms and liberties being taken away. I'm a real estate broker and have been for a long time. So I work with many people from many walks of life, and I see the struggles. And we just have not had a voice. And if you meet my friends and talk to my friends, they'll tell you Tonya has a big mouth. So when I go to Washington, D.C., the politicians on Capitol Hill, they will hear me coming a mile away. And I want to be the voice for my community, my neighbors, my colleagues. And that's what our founding fathers intended, was someone of the community, the people to take turns going to Washington, D.C. to be the people's representatives. They did not want career politicians. So I did sign my own term limits pledge, which is much different than the term limits pledge that the other politicians have signed. There's a striped contrast between the two pledges.
Okay. All right. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think that these career politicians, they get in many cases, go in with, a little bit of money or, moderate means. And then suddenly in a few years, they're worth, dozens of millions, if not more. I think
And
that's
I don't
endemic.
understand how that happens. I really don't. I mean, I kind of do, but it's it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Ethically, it
we used
should
to
not
be there that long.
Right, right. And again, I wholeheartedly agree with the fact that we do not feel represented. At both sides, I've talked to, the entire spectrum of political ideologies, both in my run for office and just on the show. We all agree that our voices are not being heard. So that's something I think we can all agree on. So if you were to get elected, the very first vote is for the Speaker of the House. Do you have some candidates in mind that you would definitely support? Or do you believe that we need to kind of shake the system up and get a completely unknown?
We need to shake the system up. And
Okay.
Going back to the term limits, they're passing this term limits pledge around, which I've signed, that pledges that each candidate would co-sponsor and vote for a bill for 3 terms for the House, and each term is 2 years, so that'd be 6 years, and 2 terms for the Senate, which is 6 years apiece, so that's 12 years.
Right.
My pledge, because it's called the Going Nowhere bill, all the politicians are signing it knowing it will never see the light of day. It's not going to be voted on the House floor or the Senate, because the career politicians run the show and they're not going to do that. So It's not going to be voted on. So I did my own pledge. I signed my own term limits pledge, term limiting myself. I pledged that if elected, I will serve no more than 2 terms, which is 4 years, because if I can't do anything in 4 years, I have no business being there. So I don't need a law to be passed to do term limits. So I'm doing that on my own. As far as the Speaker of the House, we're going to have to wait till the election to see how the parties are constructed. I do want the people who are listening to understand, because sometimes people don't understand how it works with who has the majority or the minority. Right now, there's 435 members in the House, 100 on the Senate side, but in the House, 435. So one of the 2 parties needed to have 218 for a simple majority. Well, what if neither the Democrats or the Republicans had 218? Maybe they had 214 or 215, because there was a handful of libertarians and independents in there to give the people a voice. We don't have to, because I know some people say, oh, there's no way you can get that many libertarians elected. So, it's like, we don't need to have the majority. We just need to stop them from having that simple majority, to where our small group would be needed to be able to get the votes one way or the other. And I would not vote for anything that was unconstitutional, and would expect also to start rolling back some things that have been passed. And
so let's say that happens. Yeah, let's say that happens, and neither major party of the 2-party system gets a majority, and we have a flexible group of libertarian or third party or independent candidates that are the swing vote that they decided. What would happen? Like if neither Republican or Democrats hold the majority, like that would be an interesting.
I'll tell you what will happen. The people will have a voice for once. It won't be so polarized. Right now, it's far left wing, far right wing. And most of the people are in the middle. They're independent minded. So I think some sanity would be brought. So, I mean, that would happen right away, and things would calm down, I think. Yeah, cooler heads would prevail.
What is the kind of a throw another rapid fire question at you real quick? What's your favorite movie off the top of your head?
Gone with the Wind.
Okay. All right. Classic.
And then Forrest Gump.
Okay. All right.
And both of those actually are love stories, even though
they are. They are, yep.
Even though they revolve around wars and stuff, they're actually love stories.
So a lot of people don't understand how committees work, right? For in the House, your party kind of determines who serves on what committees. How would that work? Let's say you got elected, right? You know, the Republicans and Democrats would be very antithetical towards working, you know, with a third party, as been shown in the past with Justin Amash, right? I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. Amash,
Justin
okay.
Amash,
okay. When he became a Libertarian, they froze him out, right? They said, "Oh, you're not going to be on this or that, or do this or that." How? First of all, if elected as a Libertarian, how would you get assigned to a committee?
Okay, going back to Justin's the example you gave, he was one. He was the only Libertarian. He's the first sitting Libertarian in Congress. He didn't run again. But there you had the majority was run by one of the duopolies. So I'm hoping with this election we have enough, if we can stop the two parties from having that majority, where our group of people would have a say on that. So we would have more leverage. You could say it that way. Yeah, it's like, well, we need to be on the committees if you're wanting us to work with you.
How many people do you think we would need to get elected from a third party or independent before you would actually, I guess, be able to decide committees and make policies? How many do you think would be needed?
Well, and that's a hypothetical, because right now, like I said, the way it is now, one of the two parties would need 218, but if neither party had 218, just because there were 7 or 8 Libertarians and Independents, maybe 10, you know. So so it's not a large number, but just enough to where neither one of the two parties would be able to have the simple majority.
Okay, all right.
Does that make sense?
Yo, absolutely, yeah, for sure. I was just curious.
It's simple math. I don't know.
No, it makes perfect sense. So our national debt is now beyond $30 trillion. Okay. Do you support Congress ending baseline budgeting? For the viewers, I'm sure you know, but for the viewers, baseline budgeting is where every U.S. program gets additional money than it did the previous year. It's just goes up and up and up. The only way to stop that from being raised is through a congressional vote. So do you support ending baseline budgeting?
Yes. And I do think we need to live within our means. Our country is broke. We have spending this much and our revenue is this much. I have a rat card here.
For the people. Let's see what we got.
Okay, this is my rat card.
Okay.
I made this. This was made, a few months ago, passing them out. And it's already outdated after a few months, because on here I talk about the $30 trillion in debt. Well, guess what? It's 31 trillion now. So
yeah.
And that's a shame. That is sad. That's a travesty. And the Federal Reserve has been printing money and putting it into the system from time to time, which decreases the value of the dollar. And we're heading into it could be a recession, modern day recession. And people are struggling, and it's just really hard out there. People can hardly pay for gas and groceries. They're not eating out as much anymore because it's so much cheaper to, open up a can of soup and make a grilled cheese sandwich than go out to eat. It's just really hard for people just to pay their bills. And we're going to have a cold, hard winter coming up, and people's heating bills are going up. And our country has no money. People think that $31 trillion is just some obscure amount in outer space. No, Dion, that's your debt. It's your neighbor's debt. It's any baby that was, 1 week old owes $93,000. I owe $93,000. Your kids owe $93,000 each. So I think if people got an invoice in the mailbox, you owe $93,000 of this debt. How are you going to pay it back?
Right. Right. And you and I are on the same page as far as that goes. We see this exorbitant spending, regardless of which party's in power, over and over and over. And there seems to be no real push to end it, because I mean, it works for them. They're making, plenty of money on it. You have the occasional voice of reason, Ron Paul, they spoke up about it. They've done, what they can. But for the most part, the vast majority, both parties, regardless of who's in power, just continue to increase spending, which leads me to my next question. I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask it. What do you think the number one challenge the United States faces today is?
You mean the federal government or we the people?
We the people.
The challenge that I see, because when I talk to people, they are so frustrated. They are fed up. Mm-hmm. And it used to be where they used to think that voting third party was a wasted vote. And I asked this question to a lot of people, and it's on my video as well. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, voting for the same old duopoly, the same old politicians over and over again, that's the wasted vote. People are now realizing that the two-party system is broken and is hurting our country. They're feeling it in their wallets. And that's what we need to change. We need to change who is getting elected and be more open-minded and get away from the status quo. Because the American people for too long have been complacent and allowing these same old politicians taking turns, ruining our country. And I mean the R's and the D's taking turns, and for different reasons. So, but when I'm on the campaign trail, they're fed up. Because I ran 2 years ago for the same seat, and the incumbent would not debate me, and he was one of the wealthiest men in Congress. Not because he was in Congress. He was born into a wealthy family, was wealthy before he ran. So, but yeah, and I could tell the difference between now and 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was a very, the presidential race was very heated. And in Indiana, which leans red, so many of the people just walked in, pressed the button for Trump, and walked out. And that was an automatic vote for my opponent. This year, it's not a contentious presidential race. There's no governor's race. It's a midterm, and the people are willing to step outside that box and vote independent and vote libertarian. So I'm hoping that this will be the year we see some shakeups, because we need that.
Excuse me. And you know what? That actually leads me to my next question. A lot of people were surprised by the performance of the gubernatorial candidate, Donald Rainwater, in Indiana's, governor's race. He did better than a third party ever has in Indiana, and basically broke some records, if I, remember correctly. One thing that I noticed when I went kind of door to door, because I did door knocking in 2020, I'm doing it again this year, and it seems to resonate with people that we've tried this over and over, regardless of party, whether it's, Republican, Democrat, we've voted them into office. And I'm a Republican candidate for office. So, I'm running under the Republican ticket. I'm a constitutional Republican, but I'm getting a lot of people that are saying, I would vote I'm not even going to bother voting because there are not enough options on the ballot. It's the same people. And I think that 2020 especially really resonated with people, like you said, the ones that go in and vote straight ticket, but also the ones that kind of didn't feel as if their voices were heard. I think we're going to hear a lot more from them moving forward. Do you think that Donald Rainwater's performance in 2020 brought some more interest in the Libertarian Party and kind of invigorated people to learn more and get involved?
Yes, definitely. Donald Rainwater, and I know him well. He actually came down to my county and did door knocking with us, the Libertarian candidates, and in our county. He's very energetic and smart, and the people can relate to him very well. So he really helped move the Libertarian Party, libertarianism, I should say that, because he speaks truth to power, and he did very well in that. Helped all the down ballot, and even though he's not running in the midterms, he's still active and getting the voice out there. And I'm going to follow up on what you just said about your door knocking and you talking to people, and you're kind of getting a sense of what the people are saying. I talked to a woman this past Saturday. I was at it was called the Fort Valonia Days Festival in Brownstown, or it's just outside Brownstown. It's actually Valonia. But so I was at this festival campaigning and passing out my rat cards and talking to people. And one woman said, she goes, "I don't vote." She goes, it's just which the lesser of the two evils. She goes, I don't want either one of them. And I said to her, I said I was a libertarian, and we got to talking, and she took my card and she said, "You know what? I might just vote for you." She goes, "I haven't voted in a couple of years." I said, "Well, are you registered to vote?" She said, "Yeah, I'm registered. I just haven't been voting." And I said, "Well, now you got an option."
Good.
Yeah, I do.
Absolutely.
So maybe some people might say, "You know what? I don't want to vote for these two jokers. Let's give the libertarians a try."
Right. Well, that's, and it comes down to, I'm not going to get into, the election and what happened, but there are many people, whether evidentiary or not, who believe that their votes don't matter. Now, whether that's because there's a landslide in one way or another, or their particular area has a heavy concentration of D or R, the people of the opposing party just kind of throw their hands up and go, "It doesn't matter if I vote." The thing that's interesting to me is if you look at all the races throughout the state of Indiana, especially, but even federal government, the undecideds, the middle ground, actually decides all of these elections. Every single one of them gets decided by the people that are called independents. Whether they have that R or D behind their name, a third party, or none whatsoever, the percentage points are decided. These actual elections are decided by the regular people who don't profess loyalty to either party. They are guided, whether it's through policy, whether it's through their they actually like the candidate, or whether it's because they just get out there and pick the issue that matters to them. They're the ones deciding the election. If we, the people, can energize people and get them out there, there are enough undecided voters to flip any district in this state.
Well, I would like to see District 9, at least at the House of Representatives level, to go my way. Like I said, I've been traveling all over the district, going in and out of counties to many, many events. Unfortunately, just like Diego Morales, my Republican opponent will not debate. She will not go to forums, town halls, absolutely nothing. And there was even a town hall sponsored by a major radio station that was at City Hall in her hometown, and she wouldn't even go to that. So my Democrat opponent has been showing up, and we get along fine. We're cordial, as you should be. You can have policy differences, but still be respectful. And that's the campaign that I've been running. And so hopefully that will resonate with people.
Right. And you know what? I understand completely, because in my race, it is an incumbent Democrat, and she won't debate me either. So I completely understand the frustration that's there, because it's interesting to me, the ones that choose this. And there's actually, I'd have to dig through it, but maybe I can find it somewhere. There's actually a policy, an email, something that went out. I think it was at the end of 2020. And basically it told almost all the Republicans don't debate, right? Just don't. And it was so frustrating to me as a Republican candidate for office to read this and say, what? Why? It's because, number one, the money, right? You can sponsor all these ads, you can do all these things, and then you don't have to have those conversations. But we, the people, deserve better. And again, I'm a Republican candidate for office. I can't tell people which way to vote, nor would I ever. But I will qualify that you don't owe your vote to anyone. There is no person that deserves your vote, that you are owed that vote, other than the person that you believe in. If you believe a person is going to do a better job than the incumbent or another person on the ballot, vote for them. Where can people learn more about you?
My website, TonyaForCongress.com. It's real simple. I'm the only Tonya on the ballot. So, and there's also a link to my Facebook because, but my website has all the way my web page is laid out. It's very user friendly. It has the different tabs, the issues I care about. I also have a Roll It Back page where I do a weekly opinion piece on the issues of the day. So if you go to the Roll It Back page, you can go down and see the week before, the different opinions I have on what's going on in the country, and how we can resolve some of the problems with my Roll It Back campaign. So the website's very good. And then you can also check out the Tonya for Congress Facebook. If you, there's a couple fun things on there. If you go back to, it was the end of August, we did a rally down in Jeffersonville, and it was in a gymnasium, and a huge gymnasium. And so we had an old-fashioned rally in the gym. And since I'm an ex-cheerleader, I said, if you holler the Roll It Back, because I had the signs, Roll It Back signs, and people were holding them up, roll it back, chanting. Because I said if they did that, I would roll into a cartwheel. Okay. So they did. And I did a cartwheel in perfect form with high heels on. So if some people go to my Facebook and go back, it's the end of August because it's dated. You know how you scroll down, you can find that little video of me doing a cartwheel.
Oh, see, now I want to watch that.
Now you're gonna go look.
Right? I'm seriously considering finding it while we talk and sharing it. So I got a very serious question for you. So it isn't so recent anymore, but 2 U.S. Democratic senators said that there is very little oversight going on with the NSA right now. What are your thoughts on the NSA, and would you do anything about having more oversight over the NSA?
I don't know how that behemoth of an agency got away from us. I think the way it was set up and designed is so it could run and do in secret. I mean, they don't want you to know what they're doing and what they're watching and what they're observing. So yeah, it does need to have more oversight. I think it needs to have some things done other than oversight. I think we need to kind of shine some light on that, baby.
Okay, so start reining it in and, really start chipping away at the, for lack of a better term, the tentacles that reach into many areas of our government, right? Through the NSA.
Right. And there's, other than the Internal Revenue Service, which I would like to see eliminated, and us go to a consumption tax modeled like the fair tax, FAIR tax. I would like to see that. So there's other departments that need to be closed down, and we probably don't have time to go through all of them. But I think,
is it on your website where people can learn about it? Or?
Oh yeah, like I was just saying, my Roll It Back page with my opinion pieces. I go down the list on different things, including the Department of Education. So yeah, if you go to my Roll It Back page on my website, you will get an in-depth perspective of where I'm coming from on these issues, because I get more detailed there.
Okay. All right, awesome. I have a purely opinion-based question for you. Based on public perception, right? What you've seen, especially, running for your district, do you believe that Donald Trump was a good thing or a bad thing for the Republican Party overall?
Well, I'm not a Republican.
Right, and I understand.
Listen. When I talk to Republicans,
Mhm.
it's split. Believe it or not, you have your MAGA Republicans that are pro-Trump, and then there's the Republicans that say, I'm so embarrassed. It's split.
Okay.
Yeah, it's split in the party.
Okay.
So, some of them say, oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread. And then there's other people that's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
No,
Right.
so it's like, well.
Do you think it's pretty even based on, what your experiences with, the people maybe that are tired of the Republican Party or that are reaching out to explore other options? It is kind of a 50-50.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was just curious. So let's see. So in general, especially like up here in Northwest Indiana, some of the candidates that we've had run for the Libertarian Party have been very vocally open borders, for lack of a better term. They believe that immigration reform involves basically welcoming everyone in. And hey, that's their opinion. I've had discussions with members of the party about that. Does that line up with your views, or do you believe that we need a little stricter control over who we allow in the country?
Okay, that's something that I've talked about. Our immigration service needs to be upgraded.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's busted.
It needs to be modernized. Mm-hmm. I do think we need to have secure borders.
Okay.
But they also need to be welcoming. If I could use that. Yes, we need to know who's coming and going, but we need to streamline the border, especially on the south. I think we should have more points of entry. And I don't want to get into the weeds too much, but we need to do more modernization with fingerprinting and maybe eye scans to identify people.
Okay.
The paperwork that they're using is like from the 1970s. So
I just want to make sure
I don't have any problem with law-abiding citizens, people with good intentions coming in. If they're just coming to work or whatever, I have no problems with that.
Okay. Let's see here. I have a couple of more. What is your ideal way to spend an afternoon? We'll say a Saturday afternoon, assuming cost isn't a factor. What's your ideal way to spend an afternoon, like a weekend afternoon?
Oh gosh, it's different every week. I don't have like a Saturday routine where I do the same thing every Saturday or every weekend. It's always different. Sometimes I like to go out with friends and have a good time. I like parties and this and that. But there's sometimes I just want to sit back by myself and kick up my feet, not do a darn thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It just depends.
Right.
Sometimes weather will play a part. If it's pouring down rain, then I'd rather stay at home.
Well, yeah, for sure. It's been raining for the last couple of days.
And I do like to cook. If I could say that, I like to cook I like to bake. So yeah, and it doesn't matter whether 2 people come over or 20 people come over. I put out a spread. And and people, my friends will tell Tonya, she's always got the food out. So yeah, I do like to cook and bake. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
And I've not had any complaints.
Okay, all right. What's your favorite thing to make? Like as far as the spread when you're working on it. What's the one that you take the most joy in?
When I'm having people over, I like to do finger foods like meatballs and smoked barbecue weenies, and I like to get out a cheese ball and crackers, and I make homemade dips.
Ooh.
So I like to do stuff like that, but I could do I could make a mean chili. And I also like to do, if it's not a big crowd, I like to do, roast potatoes and carrots. So, but if I'm having people over, I'm more into the finger food appetizer stuff, but I like to make them. It's not just opening a bag of chips.
Right. Okay. If I ever find myself in
You want to
Southeast,
come over? Give me the head.
Southeast Indiana, I want to hit up one of those parties, man. Making me hungry over here. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah, I make good meatballs.
It sounds like it, yeah. So a completely, I guess, a different direction here. We've been told by the federal government, because of the out of control spending, because of the lack of budgeting, because, they're doing the same thing over and over. Like you said, that, the definition of insanity, we're going to run out of money for Social Security very, very soon. How do we fix that? Should Social Security be abolished? Should we look at privatizing it? There are tons of options out there. If you had the power to just change everything, what would you do to fix Social Security?
It's interesting that you brought that up, because it was just a few nights ago. I was at a political forum in Bloomington. It was a senior citizen apartment complex, which was a very large one. And it was Thursday, actually. And the Social Security Administration had just announced that they were increasing Social Security benefits 8.7% starting in January, which means the residents or each individual would get approximately $140 a month. Added to what they're already getting. And when I talked about that, some of the seniors there were aware of it, and some of them weren't yet, because it just was announced that day. So I got to announce the news about their increase, and it hadn't had that big of an increase in 40 years. That was the good news. And then I said, okay, now for the bad news. Social Security is going to be insolvent in about 10 years. And I told them, I said, you guys are fine. You're locked in. It's the people that are in their 50s, 57 or whatever, that may be retiring in 10 years. The money's not going to be there for them.
Right.
We need to get rid of the IRS, for one. Like I said, go to the consumption tax. And that would include a rebates for seniors on that. And I don't want to get into the weeds of how that would work, but they would be taken care of with that plan. Yeah. So that's that would be a good place to start. And we got to rein in the spending, because like you said, our country's broke and the value of the dollar is decreasing.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly on that point. We have to rein in the spending, and we have to figure out what we're going to do about Social Security. I'm anti-IRS. I think that
and most people
80,000 IRS agents.
This is the absurd thing about it, is most of the politicians will say they don't like the IRS and we should get rid of the IRS. Nobody in the country likes it. We shouldn't have all this complicated paperwork and loopholes and deductions. We get rid of the whole darn thing. It came about in 1913. In modern society, with our modern technology, we don't need that anymore. We can go a different way. And nobody likes it. So why is it even still there? Well, because of lobbyists. There's a lot of the wealthy corporations who have accountants that can do the loopholes and exemptions and this and that, don't want to pay taxes. So I think that might be part of it. So we need to get some of these career politicians out of there who are beholden to the lobbyists, and get representatives in there who really, really represent the best interests of the people. And that's what I want to do. So if you have any listeners that live in my district, or if maybe your listeners don't live down here, but they have a cousin or an Uncle Joe or somebody that lives down in my district, please have those people that live in my district go to my website, consider voting for me. Do your own research. So I'm hoping your viewers, if they live in my district, will check me out. If they don't, give me a shout out to their friends and family who do live in my district. I would appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, I am all for anyone on the ballot being given a chance, regardless of what your party is, regardless of how you lean, whether it's left, right, or in the center. Learn about every single candidate. I've said this many, many times. Learn everything you can about every single candidate on your ballot. Look at their social media history. Look at their website, sure, but look at other aspects. See if you can find information about them, especially before they went public, before they became a so-called politician, especially the people that are currently in office now, the incumbents. A lot of times they scrub their social media feeds, they scrub their pages. See what you can find out about what these. I love the people that are like, yeah, I went to high school with that guy and he was a jerk, right? I love those people because it tells you there are certain local politicians that I know people who went to school with them, and they're very different from the public persona that they put out there. One thing I've found from almost all third-party candidates, and especially lesser-known candidates, are we're ourselves. We put ourselves out there. We're just, this is me. This is who I am. And it would be nice if more people did that. But I agree. Go to her website. It doesn't cost you anything. Go to her website, learn about her. I'd love to. I want to see that video. So when her time's up, I'm actually stick around. We're going to go dig through her website. We're going to find it because I want to see that cartwheel. Listen, it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. We're getting close to time. I know you have other engagements. You're running for United States Congress. That's a big deal. That's huge. If people are interested in donating, is there a link on your website? Can they write you a check? How does that work?
Yes. If you go to TonyaForCongress.com, there's a link to contribute. So you can do it online. And there's also, I have a mailbox, P.O. box that you can write a check and mail to as well. So there's contact information there at the website. And there's a phone number if you want to call and leave a message. So, yeah.
There you go. How many people running for office actually put their phone numbers up on the website, right? Even if it's a voicemail, even if it's something, you're not going to get in touch with most of these people. And one thing that I've said since I started this show is if a candidate doesn't have time for you while they're running, they're not going to have time for you once they're in office. They show it over and over and over. So if you reach out to these candidates, not just Ms. Millis here, but in general, if you're reaching out to candidates and they don't respond to Facebook messages, they don't respond to the voicemails that you leave, what makes you think it's going to change once they get elected or continue to stay in the position?
You're exactly right. And one thing people that have followed me for a while, because I did run 2 years ago, I've been consistent. My message hasn't changed in years. And a lot of the things that I care about and believe strongly about are the things that I've been talking about for 10, 20 years. So there's no, oh, I'm just going to say this to please somebody. I've been saying what I've been saying for a long time.
Well, once again, we appreciate you coming on. Everybody, well,
thanks for having me.
Visit her site, look her up. But if you stick around, I'm gonna say goodnight to Tonya because she has other things she has to do. But we're gonna find that video.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Okay, here we go. We're going to find this video. Give me just a moment. I'm going to throw my spectacles on here, and we're gonna do this. I really want to see this. How many people running for Congress is going to willingly do a cartwheel for us? Let's see here. All right, so let me get this up. Give me just a moment. I'm the one using Chrome. We don't want to restore anything. We're just going to go to. All right, and I'll share the screen with you. Here we go. Let's see here. Yep, there it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, so she said roll it back. So here we go. We're going to scroll down here. She said it was from August. Oh, hold on. Where's it at? Oh, I think maybe we have to go to this, because I'm not seeing a video here. Uh-oh. Oh no. Let's try it again. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Okay. So, well, unfortunately, I am not finding it. This is her intro video. You can go and watch that, but I'm not seeing any other videos. I'm going to reach out to her and see if she can send me a link, and then on the next show, I'll see if we can't find it. That's unfortunate. I was looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, I don't see anything. Let's see if it's under the photo gallery, maybe. Okay, yeah, I see some photos, but I don't see a video. Aw. She did say under roll it back, right? I thought so. Huh. Oh well. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping to see that, because I think it would be really cool. I'll tell you this. I do like the roll it back. I think we need more examples where we can hear directly from the candidates. Here's her, excuse me. Here's her email down at the bottom down here. The Indiana party over here. Oh, it's got a little translate button. Yeah, I'm not. Let's just see. Hold on. What if we try to open this in another window? Rollitback.org. Let's try that. I don't know why the link isn't. Yeah, it just takes it to. It just forwards it to here. Yeah, it's the same thing. Oh well. All right. I tried. You got to admit, I tried. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everyone spending some time with me this evening. We had Tonya Millis running for United States Congress in Indiana's 9th district, which she had the map she showed us. Is kind of the southeast corner of the state. We have some stuff coming up very soon. We're going to have Jeff Moore on. I'm not sure if it's Moore. He'll be on Wednesday, the 26th of October. And this week, in 2 days, Thursday night, we're going to have a meet and greet for local candidates here in Michigan City. It is 222 West 4th Street. It is right across the street from the post office. We hope you'll come out. We've got myself, Jeff Larson for Indiana Senate. We have, I believe, Connie Grammarosa for LaPorte County Commissioner. We have Deb Vance for County Council. John Matwishon for, I think he's running for assessor. Possibly other candidates. We're going to be there. We're going to have food, drink, and fun. I hope you'll have a chance to stop by, get to meet us directly, and ask us the things that matter to you. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. God bless you. God bless Indiana. And God bless the United States of America.